I checked the tent, my friends were gone. We weren't even supposed to camp there. Matt found the spot on some old hiker's blog that hadn't been updated since like 2014. No coordinates, just a half-rotted trail name and a few grainy photos. But that's what made it appealing off-grid. No other hikers, no rangers, checking permits. Just us, a couple cheap Costco tents, some firewood we bought off an old man in a flannel at a gas station, and a weekend to get too drunk in the woods. We were me, Matt, Lena, and Chris, college friends. I'd known Matt since we were kids, and Lena was his girlfriend. Chris was just that guy you bring along for the vibes. We drove 7 hours into the Cascades, dodging sketchy forest roads and mud-packed ruts that nearly caved the undercarriage of my Jeep. There was no trailhead, no marked entry, just a turnoff past mile marker 91, and a narrow break in the trees barely wide enough to squeeze through. That should have been the first red flag. But you don't see red flags when everyone's laughing, blasting music, passing Sour Patch Kids and vodka from an old Yeti bottle that probably hadn't been cleaned in weeks. By the time we found a flat enough spot to camp, the sun was already dying behind the trees. It was quiet. Too quiet. Like, yeah, nature's supposed to be peaceful, but there were no bird calls, no crickets, no wind. Just this heavy silence that made our boots sound stupid loud in the underbrush. Lena made a joke about being murdered in our sleep, and Matt told her to knock it off. But she wasn't wrong to be creeped out. I felt it too. There was a weirdness in the air. Thick. Like we weren't alone, but we set up camp anyway. 2 tents. Matt and Lena in one. Me and Chris in the other. Fire pit in the middle. Logs dragged around it like chairs. I remember the smell of burning pine and beer, how we kept cracking open warm Budweisers and talking shit about old professors. We stayed up way too late. I think it was around 2 a.m. when we first heard the snapping, not like twigs breaking under some squirrel. Heavier. Purposeful. We killed the fire fast, drunk brains instantly thinking ranger or bear. But neither came out of the woods. No lights, no huffing, just silence again. Chris kept saying it was probably nothing. Deer, maybe. But I remember seeing Lena's face, how she was staring at the dark, like it was staring back. Nobody said it, but none of us wanted to sleep after that. Eventually, one by one, we gave in. I think I was the last to crawl into the tent. I left my boots outside, like I always do. Stupid. So fucking stupid. That night, God, I didn't sleep right. I kept drifting off and waking up feeling like I'd missed something. You know that gut deep instinct where your brain is screaming something's off, but you can't prove it? It was like that, over and over. I think it was around 4 a.m. when I really woke up. It was dead quiet, but Chris wasn't there. I reached over, felt the cold, deflated sleeping bag. No sound, no zipper, no boots outside. I unzipped the flap slowly, every tooth of it scraping like nails in my ears. The fire pit was just glowing ash now. The forest was black beyond it. I called out, whispered at first, then louder. No reply. I tried Matt and Lena's tent. That's when I froze. The zipper was open, just hanging there, loose, and the inside it was empty. Both sleeping bags were torn, like someone had grabbed them mid-sleep and yanked. One was even half dragged out into the dirt, like Lena had tried to hang on. I remember backing away, breath catching, staring into the trees like I'd see something. But there was nothing. No noisy, no light, no sign of where they went. Just that horrible, horrible feeling that something was still out there, watching, waiting. And I wasn't supposed to have woken up. I was supposed to be gone too. I couldn't move, It felt like my brain had stopped syncing with my body, like I was frozen in place and the woods were tilting around me. I don't know how long I stood there barefoot, half in the dirt, just staring at the ripped tent, trying to make it make sense. I called for them again, louder this time. Matt? Nothing. Lena? Not even an echo. I screamed Chris's name, and that's when something moved in the trees. A crack like a foot on dry bark about 20 feet behind the tents, just where the firelight faded. I spun around and squinted into the dark, trying to make something out. Maybe a silhouette, maybe anything. But there was only this thick wall of black, dense forest, and silence again. It wasn't an animal. I knew that in my gut. It was the way the sound came then stopped, like whoever made it was holding still, like they wanted me to know they were out there. I wanted to grab something, anything to defend myself, but all our shit was still zipped inside the bags, and my hands were shaking too bad to unzip anything. So I backed up slowly, whispering, "Please, please, please," like that would help. Back into my tent, I sat there with the flap half open, watching the fire die out. That's when I realized no one took the flashlights. They were still sitting outside, next to the log we'd used as a bench. No one left in a rush. No one ran. So why was everything torn? Why was the tent open? Why were they just gone? I waited for the sun. I didn't sleep. I couldn't. Every branch creak made me flinch. Every gust of wind felt like breath on my neck. I kept that damn zipper in sight like it was the only thread holding me to sanity. When daylight finally bled through the trees, it didn't feel real. It felt wrong, like the light was too pale, like it didn't belong there. But I got out. I put my boots on. I grabbed the knife from my backpack. I shouted their names again, hoping maybe, just maybe, they come stumbling out of the woods laughing. Some sick prank. Matt would do something like that. Chris too, but not Lena. Lena wouldn't fake screams. She wouldn't tear her own tent open, and none of them would just vanish. I circled the camp slowly, looking for signs. Footprints. Nothing. No drag marks. No trails. No blood. Just the fire. Burned out. The bags still zipped. The coolers untouched. The marshmallows still sitting on the damn rock we used as a table. Like they evaporated. I grabbed Matt's phone from his bag. Dead. Leonals. Still 38%. I opened the lock screen. No service. No new photos. Last one was from 11:43 p.m. A blurry picture of the fire, with Matt doing a dumb peace sign in front of it. Lena's feet in the corner. Nothing after that. No video. No messages. I kept Lena's phone. I stuffed both tents into one bag and started heading back to the car. That trail, I don't even know how to describe it. It felt different, like it had changed overnight. It was quieter than before, and the air was weird, heavier, like walking through molasses. I felt watched, constantly. At one point, I swear, I heard whispering, not words, just hissing, like someone was dragging their voice through their teeth, just beyond my sightline. I turned around more times than I can count. Nothing. I nearly lost the trail 3 times. Every tree looked the same. Every damn bush. It was like the forest was trying to hold me. I stopped at one point to catch my breath, maybe a couple hours in, and I noticed something on a low branch. A shoelace. Red. I swear to God it was Chris's. He had this dumb pair of red Adidas that he wore everywhere, even though the soles were almost gone. I reached for it, thinking maybe they ran. Maybe they got taken and dropped clues. But when I touched it, I realized it was clean. Too clean. Null dirt. Null wear. Like someone placed it there. On purpose, I dropped it. I fucking ran. I didn't care about direction anymore. I just ran. Branches slashed at my arms. Something cracked under my foot. I tripped and ate shit hard. Busted my lip open, but I kept going. And finally, I found the road. Mile marqué 91. The car was still there. Windows up. Doors locked. Everything untouched, like none of us had ever left it. I jumped in, locked the doors, started it up, and tore out of there without looking back. I didn't call the cops right away. I know how that sounds. But I didn't know what to say. What was I supposed to tell them? Hey, my friends disappeared in the woods and something looked at me all night. They'd laugh, or worse, they'd think I did something. So I drove for hours. Got to a motel near Yakima. Checked in under a fake name. Sat in the shower fully clothed with the water running. And just sat there for hours, wondering what the hell I saw, what took them, and why it didn't take me. I didn't leave the motel room for 2 days. I didn't eat. I didn't sleep. I just sat there, with Lena's phone charging on the nightstand and the TV stuck on some Food Network rerun I never turned off. I kept waiting to wake up. I kept expecting someone to call, but no one did. Their families didn't know they were gone yet. And I didn't want to be the one to tell them. It wasn't guilt, not exactly. It was fear. The kind that settles in your chest and just lives there, like mold in the drywall. I didn't know how to explain what happened, because I didn't know what happened. They were there, then they weren't. That's not a story people believe. Eventually, I called Matt's older brother, pretending I'd lost contact with them after the trip. I said we got separated. Said I thought they were heading back early. Lied through my fucking teeth. He told me they weren't home yet, that he was gonna call the police. I said, yeah, let me know what they say. Then I threw my phone in the motel trash. I didn't want them to trace me. Not yet. I needed answers first. And here's the thing, there was something on Lena's phone. I didn't see it until the third time I went through her photos, zooming in, looking for anything. In that same 11:43 p.m. photo, the one with Matt doing the peace sign, I spotted something in the background, behind him, in the trees. At first I thought it was a trick of the shadows, like bark patterns or some branch distortion. But when I brightened it, turned up the contrast, there were eyes, 2 tiny, reflective dots, and just the faintest outline of a face. It wasn't an animal. I'm telling you, it wasn't a raccoon or deer or anything normal. The shape was wrong. The spacing between the eyes was too wide. The head was long, pale looking, like someone had shaved it, and it was close, way too close to camp. My stomach dropped. I tried to see if there were other photos like that, but that was the last one. No messages, no calls. I opened the Notes app. There was one entry, dated 2 days before the trip. Just said, Matt keeps saying he wants to go deeper, like off the trail. I don't like how excited he is about it. I feel sick. I think I had a nightmare last night, but I don't remember it. I sat there, staring at that note, for what felt like an hour. Then I left. I went to Walmart and bought a burner phone, new boots, a thermal hoodie, 2 flashlights, and some pepper spray. I loaded my backpack, filled up on gas, and drove back. I know how that sounds. I know it's fucking insane, but I had to. Not to find them. I wasn't that hopeful, but to find it, or at least what was left. I got back to mile marker 91 at sunset. There was police tape stretched across the trail opening. 2 signs were nailed into trees. Do not enter, active investigation, missing persons. 3 individuals, but no cops, no tanks, no cruisers. No one was guarding the trail, just the signs. I waited till dark, then stepped over the tape. Instantly, the air changed. You know how sometimes in old houses, it feels like the walls are holding their breath? That's how the forest felt. Like it knew I was back. Like it had missed me. I used the flashlight sparingly, covering it with my hand so the beam wouldn't alert anything. The forest looked the same, but off. Like someone had rearranged the trees by just a few feet. The trail was barely there anymore. It had been only a few days, but the underbrush had grown over parts of it. Branches blocked some stretches. It felt like the forest was swallowing the path, like it didn't want anyone to find that campsite again. Too bad. I pushed through. I didn't even stop at the shoelace tree. It was gone anyway. I knew it would be. When I got to the clearing, my heart nearly caved in, because the tents were still there. Not the ones I packed up. No fresh ones. 2. Brand new. Not ours. Some layout. Some spot. Some fire pit. Someone else had set up camp, and I don't think they were alive anymore, because the fire pit wasn't burned down. It was still warm, and there was something in the ashes. A pair of teeth. Human. Burnt. I heard breathing behind me. Not close, but not far. That slow, wet, steady inhale. Like someone struggling to breathe through something thick. He didn't turn around. I couldn't. I just backed up. Flashlight still off. And then I heard footsteps. Not walking. Traveling. Like hands and feet dragging through the dirt. Getting closer. And closer. And closer. Until I could feel it just beyond my left shoulder. And then, like a switch, flip silence. Gone. Nothing. No breathing. No movement. No sound. I turned. Shined the light. The woods were empty. But scratched into the nearest tree was a message. Fresh. Like someone had carved it with a hunting knife just minutes ago. It said, "You woke up too early." I ran. I don't even remember making the decision. My legs just moved. Instinct took over. I think my brain tapped out completely. I crashed through branches, roots whipping at my boots, lungs squeezing in panic. The flashlight bobbed wildly in my grip, half useless, throwing broken shapes across the trees. And all I could think was, it set a trap. Those tents, those ashes, the teeth, it wanted someone to come back. And I did, like an idiot. I didn't stop until I hit the car. Barely even checked the road. Jumped in, locked the doors, and peeled out of there like the devil himself was chasing me, and maybe he was. I didn't go back to the motel. I didn't even go back to Yakima. I just drove. For hours. Through the night. Until the sky lightened and my gaslight screamed at me. I stopped at some shitty roadside diner and sat there for over an hour, staring at a menu I couldn't read. My hands wouldn't stop shaking. Every time the bell over the door rang, I flinched. Eventually, I ordered eggs. Didn't touch them. The waitress, this older woman with smoker's wrinkles and dead eyes, asked if I was okay. I told her I got lost hiking. She nodded, like that was enough. Like she'd heard that before. But then she said something that made my blood run cold. "You must have gone up past marker 91. I looked at her. "How'd you know that?" She just shrugged. Poured me more coffee. Didn't answer. I left cash and walked out, heart pounding. Got in the car and sat there. And slowly, a horrible thought crept in. I wasn't the first. I wasn't the only. People knew about that place. They just didn't talk about it. That day, I drove into the next town over some tiny thing called Gold Pine, with one gas station and a laundromat that also sold bait. I found the local library, sat at a dusty public computer, and started digging. At first, nothing. But after an hour of typing every phrase I could think of, Cascades disappearances, camping horror stories, Washington, mile marker 91 missing hikers, I finally hit something. An old Reddit thread. buried, locked, posted 6 years ago under a deleted username. Title, Don't Camp North of 91. Serious. I'm not fucking joking. There were only a few replies. The original post was just a long paragraph. Messy, unpunctuated, almost unreadable. But the parts that made sense, they chilled me to my core. We went in W5. Just 5 of us. Came back. W2. Cops said bear, but there was no blood. Nothing. Tents torn like claws, but not animal. Like hands. Like something ripped them open and pulled them out. It waits till you sleep. It waits till you're too far to scream. I think we weren't supposed to wake up. My buddy Mike said he saw a man crouched in the trees. Just crouching, not moving. Face too long, smile too wide. And then this. And the worst part is, sometimes I still hear them. My friends, calling me, asking me to come back, but they're not real, not anymore. I tried clicking the username, but it was deleted. I saved the thread, took screenshots, then tried finding more. Anything, and there was nothing. No local news articles, no official missing persons cases that mentioned that specific area. Just whispers, lost blog posts. One guy, on an old outdoor survival forum, who said he found a half-buried cooler full of teeth, then deleted his post the next day. The forest swallowed the truth, and nobody wanted to dig it back up. That night, I got a motel room on the outskirts of Gold Pine. I bolted the door, checked the windows 3 times. Didn't sleep. Not because I wasn't tired, because I could hear them. Matt, Lena, Chris, calling me from the woods outside. Soft at first, then louder. Dude, come on, let us in. We're cold out here. It's not funny anymore. Open the door. I covered my ears, curled up on the bed, but the voices kept coming. They knew my name. And the worst part, they sounded normal, like my friends. Not monsters, not demons, just scared, confused voices. But I knew better. I didn't open the door, didn't move. Not even when the handle started to jiggle, just once. Then silence. Around 4 a.m., I finally looked outside. Nothing there. But scratched into the motel door was a message, just like the tree. Same handwriting. You're still asleep. That message broke something in me. You're still asleep. I stared at it for a long time. My fingers were on the doorknob. I don't even know why. Like some part of me believed it. That maybe none of this was real. That if I stepped outside, the nightmare would snap and I'd wake up in my bed, my real bed. And I'd hear Matt making pancakes down the hall like he used to back in college, singing horribly to Lana Del Rey, like some ironic joke. But I didn't open the door, because deep down, I knew the truth. If I stepped outside, I wouldn't wake up. I would never wake up. Because the voice wasn't lying. Not exactly. I was asleep. Just not the way people think. That morning, I packed up what little I had and left Gold Pine. I didn't check out. Didn't say goodbye. I just walked out and drove, heart hammering with every tree I passed. I headed east, far away from the Cascades, far away from mile marker 91. But the thing is, no matter how far I went, I could still feel it, watching, like it had hooked something deep in my brain and was reeling me back inch by inch. Even when I was in Spokane 3 days later, staying in a chain hotel with LED lights and business travelers and free breakfast, I still woke up every night at 3:17 a.m. Same time, every time. Heart pounding, dreams full of whispers, branches scratching against nylon. Zippers, unzipping. The sound of crawling. I started seeing things too. People in crowds that looked like Matt. A woman in a Walmart parking lot with Lena's hair, same hoodie. She turned around, and I swear her eyes were wrong. Too wide, too still, like she hadn't blinked in hours. And sometimes, I'd hear Chris's laugh, right behind me, loud, close. I'd spin around, but nothing was ever there. Nothing visible. I tried therapy. Went twice. Didn't go back. What was I supposed to say? My friends got snatched by something in the woods, and now I think it's trying to crawl into my mind? They'd put me on meds, or worse, put me in a place where I couldn't lock the doors. So I started writing every day, not just what happened, but the details, the teeth in the fire. The way Lena's sleeping bag looked like it had claw marks. The thing in the photo. But the more I wrote, the more the story started changing. It was subtle at first. Little things. I could have sworn Chris had a green sleeping bag, but in my notes, I'd written orange. Matt's lighter had a death cab for cutie sticker. Suddenly in my memory, it was blank. Then bigger things. The trail we hiked in on, I remembered a river crossing. I remembered it. But I checked the maps again, and no river existed anywhere near that location. And then, one night I woke up same time, 3:17 a.m., and the paper I'd been writing on was just gone. The entire notebook vanished. I tore the motel apart, checked the trash, my bag, the car, nothing. But there was something new taped to the mirror. A photo, one I never took. It was me, standing in front of the tent, middle of the night. Flash caught my eyes mid-blink. I looked dead. Behind me, barely visible in the dark, a figure crouched just at the edge of the trees. Long limb, long face. Same one from Lena's last picture. He checked my phone. Nothing in the gallery. No trace of the photo. The edges of the print were damp. Smelled like dirt. Like it had been underground. I burned it in the motel sink. It screamed. I swear to God it screamed. Only for a second. But it was there. Like it didn't want to be destroyed. Like it knew. I started thinking, what if this thing, this whatever it is, it doesn't just stalk you? What if it rewrites you? What if it's not about killing? What if it's about replacing? Wearing you like skin. Spreading itself through your memories, your thoughts. Until no one can tell what's real anymore. Until you're just a story someone else tells. And it tells it better. 2 days ago, I got a call. Blocked number. I answered. A voice said, "You forgot something." That's all. Just that. I didn't recognize the voice, but I recognized the tone. Playful. Mocking. Like Chris when he was trying to fuck with me. Or something wearing his voice. Today, I got mail. No return address. Inside was a zipper. Just the zipper. From a tent. I don't know which one. But it smelled like pine and blood. So now, I'm sitting in this room, writing all this down again. Every detail I can remember. While I still can, because things are starting to fade. My reflection twitches wrong sometimes. I looked in the mirror earlier and saw someone watching me through the trees behind my eyes. And just now, I heard it outside my window. "Matt," he said, "we need you to come back now. It's your turn." I didn't open the window. He didn't respond. Not first. I just sat on the edge of the bed, with the lights off, eyes fixed on the curtains glowing faintly from the street lamp outside. The air was dead still, like the room had been vacuum sealed around me. And behind the glass, I knew he was still standing there. Matt. Or something that remembered how to sound like Matt. I could hear the faint shift of boots on gravel. That annoying little ankle pop he always made when he stood too long. My heart was going to crack open, because a part of me, some sick, small part, wanted to see him, even if it wasn't really him. Even if he was hollowed out and rotten inside. Even if I was next. I got up. I don't know why. Curiosity? Stupidity? Hope? Whatever it was, it walked me over to the window. Hands trembling, breathing shallow. I peeled the curtain back, one slow inch at a time. And there he was, standing under the parking lot light. Same hoodie, same dumb REI cargo pants, same face. But his eyes were wrong. Too wide, too shiny, too still. And his mouth wasn't moving when he spoke. He just stared at me, lips sealed. But I heard his voice. Inside my head, you left us behind. You woke up, but we still need you. I tried to scream. I think I did. But no sound came out. Because something was already in the room, behind me, breathing that horrible, thick, wet inhale. I spun around, flashlight in hand, knife in the other, but the room was empty. Just shadows, just silence. And then my phone buzzed. I nearly dropped it. Unknown number. I answered, slowly, static. Then a voice, garbled and broken, whispering, "It's not the woods that are cursed. It's the memory." Then it clicked off. And when I looked back to the window, Matt was gone. The lot was empty, just wet pavement and humming street lamps. That was 3 days ago. I haven't slept since. Every time I close my eyes, I hear the zipper, zerk-ka, that slow, dragging sound of nylon splitting open. Sometimes it's inches from my ear. Sometimes it's under the bed. Sometimes it's inside my chest. I think it's almost through. I don't remember how I got to this town. I don't remember checking into this motel. I don't remember what my name is anymore. I went to the mirror this morning, and the man looking back at me wasn't me. Not fully. His mouth was smiling, but I wasn't. So I'm writing this now, posting it wherever I can. Screenshot it, save it, print it if you have to. Because if you ever get the urge to camp near mile marker 91, don't. Even if someone tells you it's safe. Even if your friends beg you to go. Even if you swear it'll be fine. You won't feel it right away, but it'll find a way in. Through the trees, through the dark, through the tent you thought was zip tight. And if you're lucky, you'll never wake up. Because if you do, you'll be alone, and they'll come back for you. Just like they came for me. Just like they're coming now. I can hear them outside. All of them. Kravling. Unzipping.